this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do the second in a series of luau layouts, and this one is going to focus on the main event for the luau, and that is the pig that is roasted for us to enjoy for the dinner. And so these are photos that are taken right at the luau that we're going to scrapbook into a 2-page layout to feature this awesome meal, and should be fun. Let's check out my workspace and get started. Okay, so this is my workspace for today, and you'll recognize this as the right side of the page that we did in our last layout, but we'll go ahead and proceed with some more of the luau that this was the kind of introduction to. And one thing I did forget to do on this layout was add, I think I need to add my my flower with the day number to this layout. So I'll go ahead and get that done, and you'll see that in the flip through when we're done with this album. But today we're going to concentrate on the next portion of this luau. So they were entertaining us while everybody was kind of arriving, and once they were satisfied that the majority of the people were there, they went ahead with some ceremonial things that that I thought were really kind of cool, and I believe they were done at the PCC, but I don't have a vivid memory of them. But they actually did a little bit of a ceremony like you've seen done with the conch shells, where they honor the winds from the north, south, east, and west. I think that's what they're doing. Please, if you know for sure and I am totally off base, would you kindly let me know in the comments, and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel while you're at it. But I would love to know for sure, but I'm not educated on that, and I don't remember their explanation for what they were doing. But you can see the two cast members that are in this photo. Maybe you can't see because it's kind of blurry, but they both have shells that they're blowing in, conch shells that they're blowing into, and they did a little bit of a ceremony then. And then this young man explained what they were about to do, and that was uncover the pig that had been roasting in the ground underneath these banana leaves for the majority of the day. Now, understand that we are reasonably certain that this is not the pig that we ate for dinner, and the reason we're certain of that is because they took this pig out of the ground and immediately escorted it into the dining area, and we all followed, sat down, and they were serving our meals immediately, like bringing the plates out ready to serve the first tables immediately. And there is no way they could have carved this or pulled this pork or cut it up or anything like that in the amount of time that they were serving in. But I'm sure that the pork we ate was probably the one they roasted the day before for the luau the day before. So not a big deal, just a little tidbit. Anyway, so these pictures are from the revealing of the pig. They pulled it out of the ground and placed it on this, I'm not sure what you'd call that, but a big board with foil and things on it. And then they showed it to all of us so we could all take pictures. And then they took it directly, like I said, into the kitchen and the dining area where we followed into the open air dining area, And so this is the layout of the photos I'm going to do for today, but these are the papers that we're going to use. And I would love to be able to point you towards a Creative Memories collection for these papers. However, the florals that I'm using with this are not from CM. You can see they are single-sided papers, and they are, I believe I found these in, I don't know, years and years and years ago at my favorite craft store. But they are the Hawaiian flower and definitely appropriate for this, so that's what I'm using. I'm sorry for those of you who are trying to follow along and go ahead and copy the layouts that I'm doing, but this is what's going to be best for this one. Just choose a floral from the other papers that you like best. We don't really have a lot of Hawaiian florals, so something I should probably suggest to Creative Memories. I am using this page, however, and it has sand on one side and kind of a bamboo-ish on this side. I'm going to use the bamboo side because I think it's provides more interest for what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to, I think this came from the vitamin C collection, but please don't hold me to that because I'm not positive. But basically I'm just going to cut this into 4 equal pieces. So cutting it in half at 6 inches, and I'm cutting across the grain, then going to cut it again at 3 inches. So that I have 2 pieces for each side of my layout. Then I'm going to go ahead and use my decorative trimmer, or some people call this the wavy trimmer. We're going to use the wavy trimmer, and we're going to make some ribbons. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the pink one first, and we're going to, I'm going to turn this so that it's, nope, it is the right way. My blades are just down. I like to pull towards me, remember, so that's why I need those up at the other end. I'm going to just use the lazy wave, or the longer wave, for this particular one. I'm going to start with my paper up against the shoulder at the top, and I'm going to just place it right. This edge is going to go right just barely where the blade's going to be. Okay, so I'm just barely putting an edge, a wavy edge on my paper. Okay, so my paper tore just a tiny bit, which makes me sad, but I'll trim that with my scissors and see if I can straighten that out. All right, so now what I'm going to do is move my paper so that it's down here on the lower shoulder, and this is not as critical for this one because it's going to be a wider piece, but it is important for when we cut the blue paper. So I'm using the grid on my table to make sure my trimmer is lined up, and that way I can use the grid on my desktop to measure my paper, because going this way you'll note that my trimmer doesn't go very far, and I don't have an arm that swings out to the side on this side to be able to measure. But I want to make sure that my pieces that I'm cutting are similar size, because I need 2 of them that are the same. All right, so I'm going to move this out until it's a full inch. Maybe actually let's go even a little bit further. Let's go 1.5 inches. I'm going to go 1.5 inches from the edge of the trimmer. So 1.5 inches this direction for this corner. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and trim that. Then I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm going to move this back up here to the top. And we're going to move that out another 1.5 inches out here, or as close as I can make it to 1.5 inches. It's a little bit harder to do. I think that's about right. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut. All right. And now I'm gonna take my blue and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start it the same way. We're gonna put that upper corner just above where the cutting zone is. And I'm going to start my blade and go that direction because my blade keeps catching, which is making me upset because it's tearing my paper when it does that. And I don't like that. All right, this is what it is. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and move this up to the edge of my trimmer so it's just 1 inch wide. And actually we could even go just a little bit shorter. Let's go 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch, so it's 1 cube in from the edge here for this upper corner. And I've moved it down so it's flush with the lower shoulder instead of the upper shoulder. Okay, that offsets the curve just a little bit, and by doing that you get a bit of a ribbon effect. Not as much of a ribbon effect as you would if it was a closer cut, but you do still get some. Okay, so we've got 2 3/4 inch ribbon pieces. And actually we could cut, let's cut 2 more of those. Let's do 2 more pieces at 3/4 of an inch. We're just going to play with this, see how this evolves today. Sometimes I let my pictures kind of dictate how my layout's going to go, and that's kind of how this one's going to be. I have an idea in my head, but we'll have to wait and see if it pans out. Okay, so I'm just going to move my photos and try to kind of keep them in their position so that I don't lose track of what I want to go where, right? So like so. And we're going to take each of these and going to take, oh, I stacked them all over here. Okay, so I need to clean this one up just a little, remember, because my trimmer was playing with me and not playing nice. So I'm just going to kind of smooth out the pieces that got a little bit jagged and use my scissors to trim and clean that up just a little so it looks better. So so that the rips are a little bit less noticeable. All right, so this is going to go across the center of my page, and I want the bamboo to be underneath my my wavy piece. So basically what that's going to mean is this is about 2¼ inches from the bottom. This one is a little high. Let's see if we can center that just a little bit better. So if we put that at 2 inches, and we put that at, we put the top one at 2 inches, and with the bottom one at 2 inches, I think this will cover. Yeah, just barely. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the top edge at 2 inches from the top, the bottom edge at 2 inches from the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere that. All right, so there's our main base page. Now we're going to take our blue pieces and we're going to run these across, these ribbons across, and we could do like that, or we could do something a little bit closer to the edge, so it shows a little more of the paper pattern. Or we could move them just below, just above and just below, which that might be best, I think, because then we won't lose all of that pretty pink, which is, some of it's going to be covered by photos, of course, but and it looks like I need to trim that too. I think my trimmer strikes again. I might be okay. Yeah, I like that best. Let's go ahead and get those adhered down now. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and get my photos laid out the way I had them here, and let's see if we need to do any matting. Not sure. I don't always like to do a lot of matting, so add a little bit of space because we have enough room, we can do that. Actually, I think I'm going to move this over a little ways so that I can use this area for a title. let's take a look at this and see if we want to mat anything. I think I'm going to go with pictures on there without matting. And I'm just pulling out my embellishments to see what we could use to embellish these pages. That would be cute. I've got more leaves like we used on the other page. We should add a journal box so that I can write down all the things I just told you about this page. So let's try to see if we can find one that would work with this. One might, but the colors are not quite. It's green. We could just do green, or we could do a big leaf. We could cut around the leaf. Do a big leaf. Kind of a better green, isn't it? If we're gonna do I'm hatching a plan. All right, so I'm not sure which one these came from. I think this was Tropic Time, and I don't know which one this one was with. Probably vitamin C, but I don't remember for sure. We can use that. Oh, look at that. We can use that leaf. Instead of having to cut that, I'll just add that leaf to that mat, and that will become my journal box if I can write really small, right? Well, I think it'll work. All right. So we could do a couple of palm trees, or we could do a leaf or two. We don't need the, oh look, there's another leaf. Okay, so I have a couple of options. I have these denim embellishments that were made by Botanical Burst, which are a little dark, but they would match the flowers that are in the muumuus that, or the lava lavas that the guys are wearing in these pictures. So that might be an option. I also have, I don't know if you remember, but CM had a some embellishments that came in a cute little box a few years back, a really cute little decorative box, and I think they were summertime, or my memory is failing me, but that's where these came from, and so I thought maybe I would use those somewhere on the layout as well. I've got a cute little purple flower we could add in for some variety. I've got these two really big leaves, or I might just stay consistent and use these leaves instead of the Tropic Time leaves. And then I really do like the idea of making this into my my journaling box. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to adhere these to this little card, and then we can trim that and find it a home on our layout. I'm gonna just tip this rather than trying to match the lines because these leaves are two different sizes. I'm just gonna tip the leaves going two different directions. That way it's obvious that I wasn't trying to make them match. And I'm gonna just trim this into a 4" by 4.5" piece, so it's framed nicely. And I'll figure out where that should go in a second. Let's check these out and see if these flowers will work. I think they will. I'm not going to use a whole lot of them, but a few. I don't know. These darker ones might be a little too dark. But these have some sparkle, which is kind of nice. We've got some smaller ones, which are a little bit of a variation, but still kind of nice. We can add in, I don't know, it's not exactly the same blue, so it kind of doesn't match super great. But if we're accenting it with green and some other colors, it actually might be okay. Or we could use one of these that just has the blue on the edges. That actually might be a really pretty accent. To use the petals just with the blue on the edges. If I find them. There's another one. There's another one. I think that's all. I think there's just 4 of each. Oh, nope, there's another one. All right. I think we're going to go with that, but I'm going to reserve those other flowers. See if maybe they might be something we could use. Let's get some more greenery. Look at all of the beautiful palms and ferns and things like that throughout the scenery. We need to have that reflected in our embellishing, so I'm gonna pull out some of these larger pieces. Especially these spiky ones. Right. Let's see. Let me get these two that are a little lighter. Add a little depth. There's another dark one. All right, let's play with that. Okay, so these guys are going to go here. We could add this in on top because I don't need this gentleman. He was not a part of my group, right? So don't really need to see him. Could cover that up. We could actually just make this picture a little bit thinner, which would also be an okay thing to do. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to just cut this down and make this a 2 2x6 photo to give us just a little bit more room for color to show through, like so. I like that much better. Gives us a little more continuity to our layout. I'm still going to overlap that just a little bit, which is okay to do. All right, and then this one will be at the same height as those. Maybe we'll raise this up just a little so it's the same height there. Okay. Then we can add some green. Right. Add some green. It's fun to play with these little plants that are not ones that are like I don't see these in my everyday life. These are much more tropical than I am accustomed to. So we'll do like that. I think that looks good. And then we'll add some color. We'll leave room here for the title and here for the color. And I can add I could raise this up just a little and add in our pineapple and our hibiscus. Or maybe do it the other way so the hibiscus shows up a little bit better rather than being right next to that giant flower. Then we can do that flower and this flower. Maybe I'll add just a little bit of blue kind of flanking that. Kind of like that. I could do something similar with this one up here. Just kind of make it look a little bit like a leaf coming off the bottom. Add a little bit of panache. And then I think that looks good. I think I'm not going to worry about those. Let me get this all adhered and we'll see how it turns out once I've got it glued down. All right? Here we go. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get the embellishments put on. I'm going to do my leaves flush to the page, and I'm only going to worry about adhering just the main portion of the leaf. So down the center and the main part of this one. Actually, I might go ahead and just do one or two of those longer prongs just so that it is more likely to stay where I want it. if you watched the last video, then you know these leaves are really awesome, but because of the way they were manufactured, they are kind of curvy, and so they don't always stick when you want them to be flat, which is a little bit of a hard thing. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. And the same thing with these petals, they are curved, and so using a foam square with them works much better than trying to smash them down so that the adhesive will stay where you want it to. My fingernails are getting stuck on the foam squares. That's not a good thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick that right in there, using the foam squares to give the flower just a little bit of a lift and the petals just a little bit of a lift off of those leaves. We're gonna do the same thing with this grouping over here. And I'm just kind of centering this underneath this photo rather than having it be like right in the corner. Because the pig is the star of the layout, so might as well give him a little bit of something to draw our attention to him, right? It was very yummy, this little pig. He was very yummy. Do have to give him credit. Whoever the chef was, they did a marvelous job. Get off. So foam squares, man, they are the bomb, but they are also quite sticky. So they like to stick. Once you have them down, you really can't pick them up and adjust them. So just know that when you are putting those down, that you need to be extra careful. Make sure you're putting them where you want them the first time. Okay, this one's gonna go there. This one's gonna go a little bit down here. And we'll stick these guys up, and we will be good to go, I think. What did we decide? We're gonna go ahead and put the pineapple on the bottom, right? And the hibiscus a little higher so it doesn't blend in with the flowers in the background paper. Okay, so I think, let me sit back and make sure this is how we want it. But I think that's going to work nicely. I think that turned out well. Let me know what you think in the comments, would you? I love reading your comments, and I try really hard to make sure that I reply and let you know that I appreciate you. So let me know what you think. And yeah, we have only just begun this luau. There's going to be at least 1 or 2 more layouts for this, so stay tuned. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.